Om Ganeshaya Namah. Valmiki Ramayana, Balakanda, Sarga 14. Shloka 1. Then, when the full year had elapsed and the horse had returned, the king's sacrifice commenced on the northern bank of the Sarayu river. Shloka 2. Placing Rishrishinga at their head, the foremost of the Brahmins performed the rites. In the greatest Ashwamedh sacrifice of this exceptionally noble king. Shloka 3. The officiating priest who had mastered the Vedas performed their duty according to rule. They proceeded according to the prescribed procedures and proper sequence and the scriptures. Shloka 4. The Brahmins performed the Pravargya. Now, what does a Pravargya mean? That is an ancient Vedic sacrificial rite that serves as a preliminary ceremony to the grand Soma sacrifice, involving the boiling of ghee and milk in a special earthen pot to produce a brilliant flash of light and heat. And likewise, the Upasada. What is an Upasada? Upasada refers to the type of ceremony performed after the initiation of the Diksha according to the Chandogya Upanishad. So the Brahmins perform the Pravargya and likewise the Upasada according to the scriptures. They also duly performed every additional rite prescribed by the scriptures. Shloka 5. Having offered the proper worship, they all joyfully acted according to the prescribed procedure. Those foremost sages performed the rites beginning with the morning Soma pressing. The morning Soma pressing, known in Sanskrit as the Pratah Savana, is the first of the 3 daily ritual juice extraction performed during the Vedic sacrifices like the Agnishtoma. It is conducted early in the morning after sunrise and is primarily dedicated to Agni and Suryadev. I think it's not Suryadev, it's just Surya. Shloka 6. The offerings intended for Indra was duly presented and the faultless King Soma was pressed. The midday Soma pressing was then commenced in the proper sequence. So Soma was pressed 3 times, early in the morning, midday, and in the evening. The midday Soma pressing, known in Vedic ritual as the Madhyandina Savana, is the second of the 3 daily Soma sacrifice, where the sacred plant juice is extracted and offered to the gods and consumed. It takes place during the main day of the Soma Yagya ritual and is dedicated primarily to Indra. So let me repeat Shloka 7 again. They also performed, no, Shloka 6. They've offered the intended for Indra was duly pressed and the faultless king Soma was pressed. The midday Soma pressing was then commenced in the proper sequence. Shloka 7. They also perform the third Soma pressing, which happens during the evening and is the final of the 3 pressings on the ritual day for this exceptionally noble king. Those foremost Brahmins did so after determining the procedure from the scriptures. Shloka 8. There they invoked Indra and the other foremost gods. Rishishringa and the others did so with mantras, whose syllables were pronounced according to the rules of phonetics. Shloka 9. With sweet and pleasing chants and appropriate invocatory mantras, the Hoter priests invoked the celestial beings and offered them the respective portions of the sacrifice. Now, what is a Hoter priest? A Hoter priest is a primary Vedic priest in ancient Hindu rituals who is responsible for reciting the sacred invocations and hymns from the Rig Veda. They are going to perform this sacrificial prayer along with the Advaryu and Ugarth and the Brahman. They perform the core group of the officiating priests during the major sacrifices. The job of the Hotar is to chant specific verses in praise and summon the deities to the sacrifice. They act as the chief caller or reciter who establishes the spiritual link between the earthly ritual and the divine. The Hotar priests work along with the Advaryu, who are priests of the Ayurveda, and the Ugartha, who are priests of the Samoved, to complete the core Vedic prayers, which is the Trayavidya. So, repeating my ninth shloka, with sweet and pleasing chants and appropriate invocatory mantras, the Hotar priests invoked the celestial beings and offered them their respective portions of the sacrifice. Shloka 10. No required offerings were omitted there, nor did any error occur. Every act was seen to be accompanied by sacred mantras, and everything was performed correctly and securely.